Hey, it's time for Weekly Weird News.
Hey.
Hey, let's go into the news.
No. If you've been following this show for the past year or so, you've likely been on the edge of your seat waiting for the latest news in a long, drawn-out saga of Malachi Love-Robinson. A real teen go-getter with he's got moxie and gumption. He just wanted to contribute positively to society as a doctor so strongly that he skipped the whole part about taking the MCATs and going to medical school and completing a residency program. He just simply became a doctor.
We gotta get rid of all this red tape. That's the real problem with healthcare.
Yeah. Too much regulation.
Yes, we deregulate all of healthcare, including people having to study to become doctors. There were, of course, steps involved in his journey, and he did put in some work. For example, he bought a white lab coat and a stethoscope.
Halfway there.
Then he did what doctors do. He went down to the local hospital, St. Mary's Medical Center in Palm Beach, Florida, and he got to work. Got his hands dirty, then probably infected people. And by work, we mean that he wandered the halls of an OBGYN wing. And obviously, he was caught immediately because a 17-year-old kid pretending to be a doctor in a hospital where the staff and security personnel all know each other. That would obviously stick out like a sore thumb.
Wouldn't last 10 minutes.
A sore thumb that he couldn't even cure.
Just kidding, though. He roamed around that hospital for an entire month, blending in so well that security and staff just assumed he was the new guy or something.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even raise alarm bells until a patient complained about a dude who looked way too young to be a doctor going into exam rooms and checking in on patients. So you can always count on old ladies in hospitals being like, "You're too young to be my doctor. Bring me the old doctor."
You see, you don't need regulations because people police themselves.
Yeah, fussy old ladies.
Get rid of the police, get rid of the hospitals, the medical regulations. Just do the work yourself in your own home. The internet exists.
Yeah. Anyway, when Malachi Love-Robinson was finally confronted, he stuck to his story, telling police that he had been a doctor for years.
Yeah, that excuse, of course, didn't get him very far, though at this rate, we wouldn't be surprised if the cops did initially take his word for it, since wearing a lab coat and stethoscope is enough to fool an entire hospital for a month. The cops would be fooled too.
He has the coat.
Yeah.
I don't know. He looks like a doctor to me.
Anyways, at this point, Dr. Love was still just a minor, and his punishment was essentially just being told not to do that again. In fact, because of his age, his name was withheld from news reports about the incident to allow him to learn from his mistake and not let this one little goof follow him around for the rest of his life.
Now, not having his name in the news, though, only proved to help him on his next adventure, pretending to be a doctor again. Having learned that infiltrating a hospital could only work for so long, Malachi Love-Robinson decided to lower his ambitions slightly by finding work as a massage therapist at a medical rehab center. And he did, somehow, despite having no training nor massage therapy license, and spent an unspecified amount of time actually performing massage therapy on people with actual injuries, until the Florida Department of Health caught wind of it and sent him a strongly worded cease and desist letter.
We know that you can't probably kill someone by doing this, but just cut it out, please. So Malachi Love-Robinson ceased and desisted from performing unlicensed massage therapy and learned his lesson. That lesson being, if you're going to be a fake doctor surrounding yourself with real medical professionals, it's a big liability.
Yeah.
So next, he simply started his own medical practice, which again, proved to be shockingly easy. He found a vacancy in a medical office building, he put down the deposit, and he moved right in. His new private practice, New Birth, New Life Medical Center and Urgent Care.
New birth, new life, who this?
Yeah, it was surrounded by other actual legitimate medical practices, and they had a Facebook page and a health grades profile. They had everything.
Seems legit. I like this young whippersnapper doctor. I like the young guys just out of school. They got the sharpest, freshest mind.
Yeah.
Do your worst, Dr. Love. So finally, Dr. Love could pursue his dreams in peace without any of those law enforcement and medical boards. So it's unclear how many patients came to New Birth, New Life for medical care, but there are a few that we know of, like one 86-year-old woman suffering from stomach pain who was prescribed vitamins and charged around $3,500 for her consultations. Clearly, Dr. Love's business was earning money now, but not as much as he'd hoped. So during one house call with the woman when she got so sick that an ambulance had to be called, Love-Robinson offered to look after her purse while she got taken away, and when she got back home, she realized, someone had forged and cashed 3 of her checks totaling $2,800. And worse, he also apparently used the woman's bank account information to siphon out $34,000 more to cover his car and credit card payments.
Because everyone knows if you're a doctor, you gotta drive a gray Mercedes. How else are they gonna believe me?
You gotta get a custom plate.
Yeah.
Dr. Love.
Dr. Love. Now, despite Love-Robinson having really stepped up his bullshit game, it wasn't long before the pesky local news came knocking. They connected the dots and realized he was the same kid who had infiltrated the hospital a year earlier and had recently been ordered to stop giving massages. Stop it! A news crew confronted Love-Robinson at his clinic, and for whatever reason, he happily gave them a tour of his practice and allowed them to interview him. He doubled down again.
Got nothing to hide.
Yeah, he insisted that he was only practicing homeopathic medicine, which is bullshit anyway, despite the letters MD appearing next to the sign on his door, which had apparently been hastily covered up with tape.
I never said I was a doctor.
Yeah, MD stands for maximum deception.
So anyway, this news report, that got the attention of the local police, who, thanks for noticing, guys. They finally conducted a sting operation where an undercover cop posed as a patient. Love-Robinson took her temperature and blood pressure, listened to her lungs with a stethoscope, and then gave medical advice, which was all enough to be grounds for him to be arrested for practicing medicine without a license. Now, he was quickly out on $21,000 bail, though, and rather than lay low for a bit, he agreed to do an interview with Good Morning America, in which he, again, insisted that he's totally a doctor, guys. This is all just a misunderstanding. Although he eventually walked out on the interview due to a problem with his earpiece. I can't hear all these accusatory questions. We'll have to reschedule.
Yes. Things were not looking good for Dr. Love at this point, and when his case went to court in Florida, he faced up to 70 years in prison for various charges. The courts did offer him a plea deal, though. If he simply pled guilty and skipped the trial, he would only get 3 years in prison. Seemed like a pretty lucrative offer, but Dr. Love, he has principles, and he'd be damned if he went on record and said that he wasn't actually a doctor. So he rejected the plea deal, forcing the case to trial.
Trials take a long time, though, and especially in this country, so Dr. Love had plenty of time to keep breaking the law in new ways. And he did. Back in September, he showed up at a car dealership in Virginia looking to purchase a new Lexus.
Oh, it was a Lexus, not a Mercedes. Sorry.
Well, you know, you can start with the Lexus. You'll work your way up to the Mercedes.
Well, a Lexus is just a nice Toyota.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, yeah, during the process, he raised some red flags while doing the loan paperwork when he claimed to be a doctor making $140,000 a year, despite having a frail, confused 73-year-old woman who he brought with him sign the loan paperwork as a co-signer. A little odd. Also, the address that he listed for his medical practice was actually the address of a Walmart. Seems like this car dealership did more due diligence
than police?
Any of the police, the hospital, the massage therapy place, the office where he's running his medical practice.
Yeah. Well, anyways, because he used his real name, dealership staff simply Googled him and realized there was probably some fraud happening right before their very eyes, so they called the cops, who came and arrested him. Good job. They spoke to the old lady, who turned out to be his godmother and seemingly had no idea what was going on, and found that Dr. Love had been using her signature on multiple other car loan applications that week, and had also used her credit card a day earlier to buy 2 iPads and a new phone, which she obviously had no memory of.
Perfect crime. And now, in the latest and probably least shocking twist in this whole odyssey, Malachi Love-Robinson has been sentenced by a judge in Virginia to 10 years in prison, which was immediately reduced to just 1 year because the judge suspended 2 of the fraud charges because Dr. Love had agreed to plead guilty to some other charges back in March. Basically, a suspended charge means that the judge is choosing not to enforce it for now if the defendant doesn't break any more laws during the full 10 years of the original sentence, which, at this point, considering Dr. Love's history, seems like way too much faith to be placing in him. But okay, I'm not a judge.
Maybe he'll, start reading the doctor books in the prison there and
become a real doctor.
I don't think any,
at this point,
I think he's just disqualified from ever actually practicing medicine.
Yeah. So anyways, he'll be spending just 6 months in jail in Virginia since he's already technically served 6 months waiting for his sentence. But meanwhile, his charges back in Florida, the ones that he rejected the plea deal for, they're still on the table, and they're still heading to trial at some point. Those charges include grand theft and practicing medicine without a license, and they could potentially land him in prison for decades, unless, of course, that judge also decides to suspend some of the charges just to see what kinds of other trouble he can get up to back out on the street.
You're more fun when you're free.
Yeah.
Let's see what else you got, kid. You got moxie.
You haven't killed anyone yet.
I mean, you did some bad stuff. But you're a real,
you're a go-getter,
He's
yeah.
a go-getter. You know?
He has motivation, and that's all.
A for effort.
Yeah. 80% of doing a job well is believing that you can do it well.
Imagine if he took this sort of motivation and applied it to something different.
Imposter syndrome is a legitimate business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyways, this story, probably the longest running story on Weekly Weird News. It's not over yet. And it might never be over.
I hope it does.
Maybe one day we can get him on the show.
He did some very bad things. He took advantage of a lot of helpless old people.
Yeah.
And he should serve the time for that. But 70 years?
Come on.
Come on.
By the time he gets out, he'd be old and frail and being used and abused by someone.
Locking up someone with that much moxie seems like a waste.
Yeah. Moxie is a rare trait.
It's
these
a
days.
very rare trait.
And he's got it.
Moxie peaked in the 1950s or so, and you just don't see moxie like that anymore.
Only down at the Rocket Fizz, the soda shop, where they sell Moxie by the bottle.
Yeah.
But anyways, we have other weird news because despite best efforts by Disney, Pixar, and Patton Oswalt, people are still generally completely disgusted by rats, especially rats that are present anywhere near food and drinks, anywhere where those things are being prepared, served, whatever.
Seems unfair to the rats. I don't know.
I mean, Pizza Rat, he loved that pizza.
Oh, he ate the whole thing.
Anyways, it's understandable that people would be disgusted by this since urban rats carry a buffet worth of contagious diseases. But if for some reason you weren't born with the basic human instinct to avoid rats like the literal bubonic plague, book your tickets to San Francisco today because for 2 days this July, the middle of summer, where everything's going to be hot,
trash.
moist, the Rat Cafe is going to be open for business.
And so pop-up shops are all the rage these days, allowing businesses, artists, chefs, and brands to try out crazy new ideas for a limited time. Generally, though, it's stuff like a Breaking Bad themed bar or a Real Life Bob's Burgers, which attract huge lines and wait lists, and generally not worth the trouble.
No.
This time, though, it's a coffee shop where you're surrounded by rats.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not as high profile or sought after.
They said they were going to do something, and by God, they're going to do it.
I will do it because it's exclusive.
Yeah.
San Francisco's Rat Cafe is brought to us by the San Francisco Dungeon, a local attraction that guides guests through a series of underground tunnels featuring actors and sets telling the seedier side of early San Francisco history.
Now, when I think of San Francisco Dungeon,
Yeah, not my...
not my first thought that it's a family-friendly tour
somewhere
of
in
the,
Castro Street,
yeah,
maybe
tied to a giant
lot
X
of
getting
leather,
whipped
a whip.
and yeah.
That's not it, though.
No.
Someone probably tried to register that trademark and be like, no, actually, this is a family-friendly museum.
I came to this Rat Cafe expecting food, rats, and getting my balls stepped on by a woman in high heels, and by God, I'm gonna have all three. Remember when you got spanked?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
by that 7-foot woman?
Yeah,
That was a surreal experience.
When did that happen?
it was a while ago. But anyways, this whole thing is part of a larger collection of dungeon attractions in places like London, Edinburgh, Amsterdam, and Berlin, which all tell local history through live interactive theater and have decent reviews on travel sites, probably except
fun.
for the ones that aren't like, oh, it was a bait and switch. This wasn't a dungeon at all.
Yeah, I thought I was going to an actual dungeon.
I thought I was gonna get flogged. Anyway, so what do rats
I
have
didn't
to
even
do-
get hard.
Yeah, my dick wasn't. I was slightly aroused during some of the stuff, but not all of it. So what do rats have to do with local San Francisco history, you might be wondering? Well, it turns out back in 1900, a decade-long bubonic plague outbreak came to the Bay Area via rats that stowed away on trade ships coming in from Hong Kong and Hawaii. It killed around 113 people.
China. Apparently, it also led to a period of intense racism because they're like, well, the rats came from Hong Kong. All these Chinese people in Chinatown also came from China. Maybe they're spreading the plague.
Well, luckily, California decided to shake things up and kill all the rats with a giant earthquake.
They did. Well, actually, even the earthquake slowed it down. But then after that, a few of those damn rats, they survived. They crawled out of the cracks.
Yeah.
Started a new plague.
Didn't they have a fire there too that should have killed them all?
I don't know why they built San Francisco where they did. It's just the most pointless place to build a city. It's got a body of water. That's about it.
They're doing fine now.
They are.
Who knows? Disaster, always right around the corner for California.
Yeah. But anyway, the San Francisco Dungeon already has a section of their tour that focuses specifically on that plague, so this Rat Cafe is presented as a way to make that section just a little more immersive, if you so choose, presenting what would have apparently been a perfectly normal coffee drinking experience 117 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You're tired, you need coffee. Are you willing to risk the plague, buddy? How tough are you? Except this time...
I gotta get that bean juice.
These rats, this time, they aren't riddled with the Black Plague, or... apparently.
Hopefully anything.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
I can't vouch. They're apparently rescue rats, available for adoption via a nonprofit called Ratty Rats. And this whole thing is just a thinly veiled promotion for the fact that, yes, a rat rescue actually exists.
Well, to be fair, I know that Chip and Dale, they weren't rats, but their Rescue Rangers crew did involve a mouse and a rat.
they supposed to
Monterey
be-
Jack was a rat.
Yeah.
But they were rescuing things. That's a different type of rescue animal.
Oh, these things. Oh, I thought they would like
Like
bring
a
little.
pet rescue.
Yeah, I thought that like you would strap like a little barrel of like cold water.
What could a rat possibly rescue? A mouse?
Yeah, a mouse on a motorcycle with a little ping pong
Rescue
for a
rat,
helmet.
you're the only one that can fit in that crack
Through
to
the
save
hole.
that baby mouse.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'm a rat. Oh, geez, you got bubonic plague everywhere. That didn't help at all.
Anyways, the website description for this one-of-a-kind coffee drinking experience reads, Ratachino, anyone? It makes it sound like they're brewing with the rats.
Maybe they are. Who knows?
Hey, they like that Wolverine shit coffee over there in Indonesia. Maybe they'll like rat shit coffee here. Anyways, if you like your coffee black, the San Francisco Dungeon is launching the Black Rat Cafe, an immersive pop-up experience, but be forewarned, the fare at this pop-up experience is neither locally grown nor sustainably sourced. Guests can sip their coffee while seated at bistro-style tables, nicely draped with red and white Gangnam tablecloths.
Oppa Gangnam tablecloth. I think it's gingham.
Whatever. All while being surrounded by rats.
Ooh.
The limited run pop-up experience starts at $49 per person and includes all you can drink coffee, interacting with friendly rats also, as well as admission to that San Francisco dungeon. The event is only happening on 2 days, July 1st and July 18th, but take as long as you want buying tickets because I don't think they're going to sell out.
No, I doubt it. Doesn't seem like something people are going to be lining up for. Most people I know have a visceral reaction.
Then come down to the possum powwow. The armadillo
the cockroach kitchen.
adventure, yeah. They're cute cockroaches.
Oh, these cockroaches are adorable.
Yeah.
Ugh. Anyway, before we get into the second half of this show with the headlines, get that appetite back. Yes, we have to say thanks to this week's sponsoring advertiser, Blue Apron.
You can cook your Blue Apron wherever you want,
Yeah.
even in a rat-filled apartment.
Yeah, if you have rats or not, Blue Apron's the same either way.
Yeah.
Blue Apron ships you a weekly box filled with all the fresh, locally sourced ingredients that you'll need to make 3 truly delicious meals at home. They make incredible home cooking easy and accessible by delivering seasonal recipes with easy instructions and pre-portioned ingredients right to your door, all for less than $10 per meal.
Some of the Blue Apron meals available this month include beef teriyaki stir fry with sugar snap peas and lime rice, baked spinach and egg flatbread with sauteed asparagus and lemon aioli, 3 cheese and baby broccoli stromboli with tomato and oregano dipping sauce, and crispy salmon with roasted potato salad and pickled mustard seeds and creme fraiche sauce. There's a lot. Blue Apron's recipes are always super eclectic, and they'll have you cooking stuff that you never thought you could or never knew existed. And there's so much variety that you'll never get the same recipe twice in an entire year.
For you, our viewers, Blue Apron is offering your first 3 meals for free with free shipping if you go to blueapron.com/weekly. Head over there, check out this week's menu. You're gonna love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. Again, that's blueapron.com/weekly. Blue Apron, a better way to cook.
Now let's get into the week's weirdest headlines. These are all headlines that are real as fuck.
Yeah, starting with an update to one of last week's stories.
Yeah.
Organizers of the disastrous Fyre Festival are reportedly being investigated by the FBI.
As they should be.
I'm shocked. They also
get Billy McFarland off the streets.
They got a new lawsuit. And this
Yeah.
one's not from attendees. It's from a company who loaned them like $3 million and just never got any money back.
Yeah.
Also, apparently those wristbands that people filled with money, no one ever got the money back from that.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, the FBI is looking into it because it seems like a lot of this could probably be classified as a crime.
Hey!
A federal crime.
It looks like you guys are committing some light fraud here.
Light fraud.
Anyways, I hope that Billy McFarland finds that you can't just do whatever you want. in
He's
life.
like Billy McFarland is the Malachi Love-Robinson of festival
festivals.
promoters.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear to God, I'm a festival promoter.
It's gonna be
Give me the
great.
money. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm a millennial inventor. I got that car.
How hard could it be? I've been to Lollapalooza and Coachella.
Yeah.
Pretty breezy experience.
Moving on. Old Nokia phones find new life as sex toys.
I mean, you remember
They're durable,
The
they
3310.
vibrate.
The thing
Yeah.
would like, yeah, you'd have it on the table. You'd hear it from across the house. It's like,
Yeah.
oh God. And yeah,
You'd have to put like a safety pillow over that thing if you're using it.
yeah, I think it could really like do some damage.
Mm-hmm. Burn that clit right off.
Mm-hmm.
Watch out, ladies.
Murder that pussy.
Yeah. Or if you're down one,
Destroy
down one of the dungeons, put this up your ass.
Yeah. This is apparently the story is about India, where not a lot of vibrator stores around. Kind of hard to get a hold of one. So women there, they got.
Can you call me 3 to 6 times a day?
Yeah, they got a little trick where they buy these Nokia 3310s and they just test out the vibrator function over and over again.
I want to return this phone. The vibrator burned out after like 3 days.
Ooh.
Woman in T-Rex costume who scared carriage horses turns herself into police. At least she felt bad.
Yeah. Well, she hurt these horses.
Yeah.
She jumped out in the street and was like, oh, I'm a T-Rex. It was one of those stupid inflatable T-Rex costumes. And his carriage, this fancy horse and carriage in Charleston, scared the horses. They backed up and like it jackknifed the carriage. The guy piloting it, or driving it or whatever, he fell out and broke his foot. The horses injured
those horses
themselves.
already have a terrible life ananyway.
Yeah.
They're out in the fucking heat, walking around clopping all
God,
day.
I wasn't designed for this.
Shitting all over the place. Then they gotta deal with T-Rexes now.
T-Rexes, yeah. So she scared him. She ran away. They said that she was wasted. It was a woman. And she just, I'm drunk, so I'm gonna put on my inflatable T-Rex costume because it's got fans inside of it, and then I'm gonna go scare some horses. Oh geez, what have I done?
After a couple of Bloody Marys.
A couple of those mint juleps that South Carolina is so well known for.
Yeah.
Down on the bayous of South Carolina, drinking
The
mint
coast.
juleps.
It's on the coast.
The bayous of South Carolina, where the gators are.
Yeah, they do have gators.
Do they? I don't know. The
Well,
South's all one big state to me.
In Myrtle Beach, they have a gator farm.
Yeah, a gumbo farm.
Right
too.
next to the House of Blues, if it's still. I think they probably tore it down.
No, whatever. Tennessee man gets $14 million bond after daring judge to raise his bond.
Yeah, I mean, that'll happen.
This was very similar to that story that the Rick and Morty people reenacted. The judge gave him a $50,000 bail, and the guy's like, "Fuck you, judge!" And the judge is like, "I'll raise it. If you don't sit down right now, I'll raise it." He gave him a chance, and then he's just like, "Nah!" They raised it to $1 million, and he just kept daring him. It's like, okay.
Finally, 10 million was enough.
14.
14 million was enough.
I don't think he's gonna be able to cover that. Oh well. He sounds like a real piece of shit. So
Yeah.
Probably better that he's not on the street.
And his name was Billy McFarlane. I don't care. I got all this money.
Bro, just put on my black card. It's not actually a black card. You see, it's a new black card for millennials.
I'm conning people. It's a con.
It's a con. It's a good con. Did you see how well that con went?
Yeah.
Former FBI director, well liked at bagel shop. This is.
How do you not notice him when he walks in, though?
I don't know. The man's very tall.
Yeah.
I love. This is like local news from Westport, Connecticut, where apparently Comey now it's his hometown. Now he spends a lot more time there. But it's like local newspapers is like, let's find the local angle on the just massive news that the FBI
Not the bagel
director
shop.
was fired by the president. How can we cover this?
Well, we love him here.
Well,
The man comes in and buys 12 bagels
yeah,
a day.
he's like, he's a great customer. You would never guess that he's the FBI director. Very humble.
Very tall.
He recommends the bagel shop to all the other like Secret Service people that come by. Great guy. Real sad to hear about it. Finding an angle on this
Next
story
week
that
we're gonna
no
go
one
down
else
to the
has
local.
covered.
We're gonna go down to the local supermarket to see what people say about him there. He always pays his bill in full. He comes through with groceries. Would you believe it?
Yeah.
His card's never been declined.
Seems like a man of high ethics.
Yeah. Anyways, Woodchuck responsible for starting Fyre, now chucking wood in heaven. Obviously a Christian newspaper that believes in heaven and heaven for animals.
Small town Colorado newspaper for the city of Steamboat.
They don't even have steamboats there.
Well, there's a city called Steamboat in Colorado, and this was newsworthy enough to publish. A woodchuck got in someone's car. He hadn't driven in a while. He drove off. The woodchuck got stuck in the car, started a fire. Woodchuck escaped. There was
Wait, the woodchuck was driving?
No, the woodchuck was in the engine.
Oh, I thought you said the woodchuck hadn't driven in a while.
No, the man hadn't driven. I don't know.
I don't know about the woodchuck.
But yeah, the woodchuck caused the engine to catch on fire, ran away on fire. A manhunt commenced for that
Chuck
woodchuck.
hunt.
They found the woodchuck. He was badly burned but still alive. And they
Put it out of its
they
misery.
euthanized him. So now he's chucking wood in heaven.
they euthanized him. We like to think he's up there right now.
Chucking wood. And crawling into people's engines.
He's God's problem now. Martha, my car won't start. Yeah, that's right. My wife's name's Martha, just like Superman's mom.
What did you say?
Ugh.
Man in red Trump hat disrupts Shanghai flight to the U.S., triggers chance of lock him up. And there's video. And it is more baffling than anything else.
The getting on a plane in Shanghai with a MAGA hat on is just
It's a bold
strange.
move.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a bold move that it's pretty much only reserved for old white men in their 70s and 80s. This man clearly, the category he's in. He's yelling at people for not speaking English on a plane full of Chinese people. And the whole thing started because he got bumped or something, and in his mind he thought that meant that
Here it comes.
He thought that meant he was entitled to an entire row of seats, even though that's literally never been the case. They didn't tell him that. He just assumed that's what it meant.
Make airplanes great again.
Yeah, he got on the flight and he's like, wait, there's people sitting next to me. This is bullshit. Get out. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, make America great again.
The only thing that I think it's, if a flight is over like 13 hours, and I'm not talking about old people, I'm talking about fucking old people.
Yeah.
They're the worst. We got hung up in Hong Kong flying back from Thailand. This woman, she had this massage ball to like put on her back if she got like a cramp or something like that. The guy, he's like fucking took the ball off and it's just a shiv. It was a fucking spike. And he's like, you can't bring this on the plane. And she's like, I've been flying for 50 years. You need to let me on the plane. She like, it delayed the flight by an hour because she would not shut the fuck up. It was insane.
I don't have much time left, but I'm gonna fucking use it.
Yeah. It was like, lady, it's a fucking spike. You're bringing a spike onto a plane.
Oh, this guy, it was actually kind of a heartwarming scene, it delayed the flight by like 6 hours. They had to evacuate the whole plane. This guy finally did his perp walk out of the plane, and the Chinese passengers and the American passengers, they
came together.
They came together to chant "Lock him up" as he did the perp walk past all of them.
Shame.
And the rest of the flight, like people that were on it, they were just like, yeah, the Chinese passengers, they didn't hold it against us. So this was actually a moment.
They made America great again by keeping him out of the country.
Yeah, they agreed that they figured out that they could all agree on one thing: that this old man in the MAGA hat was annoying and ruining the flight.
You know what is gonna make America great? Putting this old man in a Shanghai prison.
Yeah, he's his prospects are not good.
No.
If you're gonna get arrested,
we need to buy a big shame bell.
Don't do it in China.
We need to get a shame bell for the show that we can ring.
Oh my god.
We do.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that.
Farting, peeing dinosaurs come to the Manitoba Museum.
Come on down to the Manitoba Museum.
We got the farting and dinosaurs, the pee all over the place.
You've seen dinosaurs before, maybe at Clive Palmer's amusement park. I don't know what accent I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, these ones pee and they fart.
You'd be surprised to know how much dino DNA's in one of those gas clouds.
It's apparently based on a theory that dinosaurs used to fart all the time and it caused the global temperatures to rise.
Well, they're giant animals.
Yeah, the farts probably smelled awful.
Yeah, you get a whole bunch of them together farting, and you know, like at least half of them, I'm no scientist, but at least half of them are all herbivores, and you know those farts smell even worse.
Vegan farts?
Oh,
Awful.
fantastic.
Awful, yeah, just, ugh. Beautiful scientists not taken as seriously as less attractive colleagues. And I fall into that category as well. You show me a hot scientist, give me the ugly one.
Yeah.
Same with doctors. I choose the oldest, ugliest doctor I can find.
That's why Malachi didn't get away with it.
Yeah, too young.
Too young.
Too useful, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just a handsome little man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe ugly up some more.
Yeah.
He'll get beat up.
Put on glasses. It makes you hideous.
Yeah. Big old Coke bottle.
God.
Mississippi Representative Carl Oliver says those who destroy Confederate monuments should be lynched. Wow.
And now he's saying that was a poor choice of words.
Oh, you think?
You think so?
Yeah.
This whole fucking thing with the Confederate monuments in Louisiana is so stupid. Like, first of all, the fact that these things were up there for 150 years honoring a bunch of people who tried to, like, destroy the United States is weird enough. But, like, they're not even destroying these monuments. They're just removing them. They haven't figured out what they're gonna do, but they're probably gonna make like a Civil War museum where they put all of them in like a sculpture garden or something. Like they're not getting rid of them. They're just like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have these
publicly on
these
display.
people who are essentially committed treason like on display as heroes all over.
We're honoring them.
Louisiana.
It's heritage.
But yeah, it's so fucking weird. All these people in the South, it's the whole South, because they all have them. Like this guy's in Mississippi, stayed over, and he's just like, you know, if they try doing that in here, they better watch out. You're gonna get lynched. Oh, geez, did I say that?
Sorry, it's just that I say it so frequently that I forget that it actually has meaning.
Yeah, you know, I say a lot of people should be lynched, not just things related to slavery. So it's not racist.
Anyways, finally, truck plows into company Anal Tech, releasing foul odor.
What do you think Anal Tech is?
Analyzation technology?
Yeah, that's
Good.
what it is.
There we go.
They changed their name in like
Butt Tech.
In the 1960s. They abbreviated like analysis technologies to Anal Tech, and they just haven't been motivated or able to come up with a better name. They do like analysis of like
We're getting so many
and
hits
shit.
online. It's great.
Yeah, Anal Tech, but yeah, it's all these chemicals. The truck hit it and just released like sulfur and shit. Just Anal Tech.
It's
poopy smell.
funny. We all
It's
see
a great story.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone's safe over there at Anal Tech.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for Weekly Weird News. Be sure to check out Tech Newsday about real-life Robocops and how shitty they are. And also a new episode of Tugs about the hottest
Where'd it go?
new...
Oh, here it is.
The hottest new video game in the world. Can you guess what it's about?
Fidget spinner!
Oh!
I have a fidget spinner.
10,000 miles per hour fidget. Oh!
Bye. Bye.